You are the producer, director, and actor in your own play. You're also the script writer, being written as it goes along. You know what that means? You can change the script anytime you want. You're the writer, you're the actor. You don't like the way the scene is going? Change it. This is how much power we have and we don't realize. So this was the first video that came across my feed from Dolores Kenyon. And at the time I saw this video, I don't know who she is. And the message resonate with me is because due to I was a filmmaker. And so when she said, you're the producer, writer, actor, director of your own movie, that resonate with me, even though I don't know who this lady was. So it makes sense to me because everything in our reality, the material, from the chair we're sitting down, the pen, the laptop, the camera, it's all first came from somebody's imagination, which is somebody's was in the fourth dimension to imagine in their mind before it become materialized. So when I was making the movie, the independent film that I was making, I realized I was scripting and then play the scene, play that as a director in my mind first. So I'm sure if you're a director or even an actor, writer, any type of artist, I'm sure you play out the scene or play out the arts that or the drawing or the stuff that you're making, creating in your head first. Funny thing, even this podcast, I rehearse in my mind first, in my fourth dimension, which is the imagination. So Doris Kenyon, I start seeing her, knowing who she is later on when my mom passed. And I start expose myself to a lot of spiritual contents, videos, guides. And so when I realize who she is, it all makes sense. And it all makes sense because I start realize every movie that we seen in the movie theater is all documentary. The first movie that really resonated with this statement was Matrix because it's so aligned to what's happening in our world today. And I start going to this rabbit hole and I went deeper and deeper and deeper and I start realizing oh, so many movies or shows, TV shows are actually predicting our future. And this is very interesting because like I mentioned earlier, even in the 3D world, when we try to create arts, when I was trying to make that movie, I was imagining in my head, in my mind first, which is the fourth dimension. Okay, so all movies are documentary, starting from someone's mind, someone's imagination, someone's fourth dimension. And also, of course, there's another layer, which is called predictive programming. And that's going to be another topic that for another time because it's like, you know, when we are watching a movie or a TV show, it's programming us to think certain ways, feeling certain emotions, and for doing so, we are our collective mind start creating this reality based on that, and that's why it's called television. Television, if that makes sense. So today in this last series of fifth series, I'm gonna share this recording, this episode that I was recorded with my friend Jesse about a year ago, 2024. And this episode never released somehow, but now I believe it, now is the time. And this episode, we were going
do a movie review. It's not the typical movie review that we saw online. It's a movie called The Real Player One. So if you've seen the movie, you will know what I'm talking about. It's pretty much aligned to our reality today. And if you haven't seen it, I will suggest you watch it first and then come back to this video. Hope you guys enjoy and remember to subscribe, leave a comments, and share this video. So seems like last time when we do the leave the world behind, um, I won't call it review, but like reflect the movie as a kind of like a documentary or a hint for
Yes.
our reality. So today we're gonna do another one, and the movie is called Ready Player One. And this movie is it's not recent. It's May, I believe, is that around 10 years ago? Do you have the
Yeah.
date?
2018.
Oh, so it's yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost not 10 years, but almost there. And it's directed by
Steven Spielberg.
yes. So I'm sure everyone will know it.
Yeah, I looked it
Classified
up. I have
as
it here on the other screen,
okay,
so everything confirmed.
perfect. So it's I'm sure it will be t- categorized in a genre of sci-fi, right?
Yes, and just to add on to what you said, it is written by Ernest Klein with a C. He has a novel. It's by the same name, and I think we discussed this in a previous
Hmm.
segment. Sometimes when people make movies, they take liberties and they change it. If it's an adaptation from the book, they
Hmm.
change it to fit the movie. So those of you out there who have read the book, yes, it's not exactly like the movie, but overall, the movie was very visualized,
Uh-huh.
visually stimulating, I should say. Go ahead, Shelby. What did you think about the movie?
Okay. Well, you say it's not adopts exactly the same way as the book, but from my personal perspective, it's adapt to our reality somehow in a way, just like the two other movies that we talked about in the past, The Matrix and then Leaving the World Behind. So again, let's start with this as an advertiser.
And then a
Yeah.
disclaimer, everyone, you could
Yes.
all be in the same theater watching the same movie, but you will all think something differently.
Exactly. And
Okay?
funny
Even if you
thing,
read the book, it's still
yes,
different.
yes, funny thing you say that. Let me just add this little feedback onto our channel. Cause if anyone or if you have not seen, I'll put the link in the bottom. I we made a I made a reel shorts of what do you think about Biden's legacy is gonna be? And then I merge with Trump's speech, and then a reaction of you saying, "Be careful, it's called senior abuse." So I posted, and then this one person comes back to me, comment on what what are you trying to say here? Are you trying to uh, use Trump to mock Biden or the other way around? And you
Mm,
know how I reply?
mm.
I say, it's not about what I think, it's what you think after you you watched it. What do you think? And she still didn't get it. She still want somebody to try to tell her what it is. That's,
Yeah,
I believe
not a
that's
lot
how
of
we've been.
people, not a lot of people will get it. And like I said, and you mentioned, you can have 300 people in the theater, and what you get is not what the other person got, and it's all sorts of things. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not just one thing. I wish you can say, "Oh, you just got to wake up." No, it's you cannot do that. It's
So
a lot of
so
stuff.
I
Okay.
so I was gonna check it out. I have the link and I edited it on sort of like a little bit for that intention and just it sounds like we are mocking Biden, but at the same time, we're making fun of Trump. So I don't know. What do you think? So okay. So back to the Real Player One. Okay, as
Or Ready Player One.
yeah,
Just
Ready
FYI.
Player
Go
One.
ahead. Go ahead.
So I mentioned that a lot of movie I see and there's a reflection of the reality maybe in the past or maybe in the future. So the movie is made in 2018. So as of today, 2024, in February, we all know VR, that headset is exist already, which is in the game. I don't know, I don't play those type of games. I don't know, 2018 is those headset glasses is already, I don't think it's available at the time, right? So right now there's two major brands. One is Apple and one is Facebook just came out with the Quest 2. It's called Quest 2. I don't know the name of the Apple. Do you happen to know?
Oh, I can look at it. What is it? An
Yeah, so
Apple?
the Apple VR
Okay.
glasses, and I just listened to this Mark Zuckerberg's interview on a money economy podcast, and he did mention, Apple brand is way pricey than the Facebook brand, and but he does, of course, he will say Facebook Quest 2 is better than Apple's. So did you
Yeah.
find
It,
out the
it's
model?
called it's called Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah. So basically it's serving the same thing, and if
Wow,
you
$3,500.
yeah. And then Facebook Quest 2, I think it's only what, $400 or $500. Still expensive, but
Yeah, let me check.
okay.
What is it? Quest 2
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, VR glass, VR headset. So, the movie is basically a virtual reality game. A virtual reality game in 2018 I don't think it's exist, or at least it's not very not very normal for everybody to have it, and most likely is for the gamers. But Mark Zuckerberg is switching Facebook, Inc. This name of Facebook into Meta, and he was trying to create a metaverse during COVID. And COVID, as we know, everybody stay home, and the purpose of he's making this metaverse is to stay engaged, stay social, with
Oh
people.
yeah, I see the price like between $250 to $300
Well,
for the
oh yeah, it's
Meta
a big difference.
Quest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
so the movie is basically reflecting our reality today, 2014 and 2024, sorry. And then so so the movie start off, a in a very, also very interesting, also reflect to almost there for today's reality. You see a stacking of trailers as their home, right? Remember that part, Jesse?
Yes.
Yeah. So as I don't know if you know, because I'm in real estate. So real estate, even California right now, they rezone, like they used to have, like, okay, this is for single family zone, this is for multifamily, or this is for condo, apartment, or whatever. And now they mix all zoning together as one residential. So which means in your single family home backyard, you can add ADU. I'm not sure if you're familiar with ADU,
What does that
additional
mean? What does that
a-
mean again?
additional dual units.
Hmm.
It's like we see all the big container. It's like they build home, they build kitchen, like your background, and then they put it inside a container, and then they drop it on your backyard if your backyard is big enough.
Yeah,
And people,
there's a lot of places, both new and old. I know we call it ADU, but I believe this happened in the late 70s. They did the same thing where they changed the rezoning.
hmm
So I know you're talking about present um, changes in government, but like we talk about it before, it's a continual circle. It's going to come and go, come and go.
yeah. So the
So
movie
this
is
time it's there again, and you saw it on the movie. Okay, go ahead.
yeah. So the movie is very interesting, reflecting. I forgot what year did they put 30,
Oh,
35 or 47. I forgot.
yeah, it's around that time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I do see, it might happen, in a near future, because as we see what's going on in the politic, or what's going on with the homeless crisis, and the reason Newsom is changing that rezoning is to have more space for housing. That's his main reason. And so this movie reflects to that. And as you can see, everybody in the movie is doesn't really enjoy the actual reality anymore. Everyone is having a headset and playing games, And
Have you ever visited a housing project?
what type of project, depending
Housing,
on.
just what do they call them? The housing project. They call them the
I
projects.
I do well. I never visited like an entire construction, of course not, but
No, I mean after
like a
after the fact. After
like
the fact.
a like
After they
a
build it.
oh yeah. Well, the project I've been is fixer upper, remodeling, or and then after they rebuild, they usually have a model home, for people to go see and to pick which blueprint, or inside the structure that you like. So I do. There's a lot in Irvine actually. So
Yeah, the ones I'm talking about are different, but that's okay. We'll move on because I think we're getting off the movie. We're getting into real estate.
yeah. So well, the movie has that part in the real estate world. So and in real estate, like I said, people looks like in the movie is just it's not. It doesn't look like the first number one richest wealthiest war in America anymore. It's more like yeah, like a camp. Okay, just say
Yeah,
like
I
that.
got a glimpse of Hunger Games in there.
Yes, I'm gonna just
Go ahead.
refer to that. Okay, so as you can see, so it's a sci-fi back in 2014, but 2024 it become a documentary again, right? So as the movie move along, I'm gonna jump into the game inside the game,
Okay.
right? So the purpose of the game is to get three keys, three different perps, and then you earn coins. It's like somehow reminds me of crypto, bitcoins,
Yes.
and
Yes, that's
yeah,
a good analogy. Yep.
right. And then people playing, and when you get injured in the game, you somehow feel it physically in the real world. Based on that movie, the reaction of the character of the real world, they jump back, they flip, fall back, flip. So it seems like I do see that in today's world too, because people, I think a lot of people start the VR as a fitness. Have you seen people like doing as playing, let's say, tennis or some sort of sports game or
Are you
fitness?
talking? Are you talking like about the Wii?
Yeah, but we with the VR
Yeah.
glasses. Yeah. So this also align with what Mark Zuckerberg want to do since pandemic. He was more like focused on the business, because as we know, we have to go on a Zoom to do meetings, and he wants to make it like everybody has an avatar, right? This movie, everyone has avatar. So So Zuckerberg's ideas is have avatar in our, let's say, business meeting, corporate meeting, and that's also reflect to this game. The game is not in a corporate world or business world, but it's in more like you said, hungry game. Some sort already. What's that other movie called about the maze? It's similar to that too. So similar to Hungry Game.
Yeah, and the I also was able to see some other people review
Mm-hmm.
the movie,
Yep.
and they mentioned that it has a little bit of everything.
Yes.
It took it from here, from there. They mentioned over 300 Easter eggs. They mentioned it was in 2018, but it's almost like the person who wrote it
When when
referenced
is when is the
referenced
when is the
1980s all the way through the
when is
movie.
the book written? I don't know.
Well, what I'm getting at is the person who wrote it never left the 80s,
But
because
the
if you remember the movie, all they did was 80s music, '80s video games, all
Mhm.
in the future. Just like you said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because inside in the movie, the creator, I forgot his character's name. The creator was more of an older gentleman, right? Compared to those kids. And the reason I asked about if you know when is the book written, because we know the movie is made by 2018, but the book might be earlier than 2018, correct?
Well, it's correct, but what I'm getting, I'll find out right now. But if you
Yeah,
really
the
think about it,
reason
the,
why I'm
the
asking
don't
is
don't go too much into where the book when the
I
book was
know.
written.
No,
But go ahead, make
the
your point.
reason I asked the book date is because, it's from 2018 to 2024. It's already, very futuristic at the time. So if this book is more back than 2018, then I know it's not exactly 100% storyline, but it's still very futuristic for this
Well,
writer to write something like this.
one of the things that oh yeah, and the book was set in 2045. And let's see when the book was published in 2011. So
Wow.
8 years after the book was published, it was made into a movie.
Yeah. And
But
10,
if you were
and
born in
then
1999, or even maybe even 2004, you have no idea what the references are in the movie at all.
yeah, but it's funny. It's
You
10
have
years.
no clue because none of that, you never grew up with it. You don't even know about it. Nothing. The music, even the music is like, wow, what? This is not my music.
and
Anyway, go
and
ahead. Go ahead.
and the book 2011, 10 years later, like I mentioned, during pandemic, that's when Mark Zuckerberg changed Facebook to Meta. If you see the connection, 10 years later. Yeah. And okay, so a lot of signs, a lot of avatars. That's that's in the movie, and that's to me personally is reflecting to the reality of metaverse and Mark Zuckerberg's vision. And however, when the player in the movie start playing, try to hit the goals, as you can see when you mentioned about 80s, he's driving a Back to the Future DeLorean car,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
the 80s, right? The
I'm
80s.
just referring to the book. The
Yeah,
book
yeah,
is
I know.
all in the '80s, so
Yeah, and
kind of
then a
didn't
lot
say
of,
it.
and
It's
then a
there.
lot,
It's
and
there.
then the fine. I don't want to. Okay, it's a spoil alert. The final clue of the inside the game is also a game from the 80s, right? If you remember, like I don't
Everything,
know.
yeah, everything's there.
Yeah, I don't know what I call the game. I don't have a clue, but
There's so
it's a
many
very,
things
very
there. Yeah.
simple game in back in the 80s. Anyway, so now when in the movie when he got the first clue is to I forgot the exact wording, but it's telling the player to go backwards instead of forward. Go backward as fast as you can. I remember that phrase, right? Do you remember that? And then what did he do? He went on to another, I will call it, I'll personally call it dimension, right?
Okay.
Under yes, you can see underneath, right? You see King Kong's Godzilla on the surface, but because when he tried to make the goal the first time around, he was on that surface level, right? We call it. And
Okay.
then once he get the hint, he went the opposite direction, like you mentioned, cycle. If it's cycle of time, and if this player go backward, then he will enter a different layer of dimension or frequency. Okay, and then he was able to see everything above happening. Remember? Yeah. So this is kind of the same we've been talking. You and I or other guests been talking about on the show that there's a um, different layer, and if you're in a higher frequency, somehow you can see but below you can. Okay, so this is kind of like same analogy towards that. So do
Yeah,
you have any?
the name of the game that you're talking about, I think, and correct
Mhm.
me if I'm wrong, is called Adventure. And
Oh
for
yeah,
those
yeah.
of us who were not born before 1999, that was under an Atari 2600 video game. Yes, they used to have those then.
And
I
then what
know
about?
anyone born after 1999 or 2000 has no idea what I'm talking about, which is okay.
Yeah, and and I mentioned about Hungry Game and the what is it, Amazing Maze or something, and then it's also reminds me of another TV Netflix show. It's called Squid Game. Have you seen that one? That's what's very.
That one show I try to stay away because it's too much like what do they like to say? Just use the acronym IRL. It's too much like in real life.
Ah, but well, you jump into the very, very fast that we're gonna do this. Okay, well, it's okay. We'll get there. Okay, so the movie. So what do you think so far? Like, there's a lot of. What about the King Kong? It's also a game. I remember, right? Growing up in the '80s,
You know,
it's not a video game on TV, but it was
yeah, like I said, they
arcade.
reference a lot of 80s stuff, which was a King Kong movie. But if you really look at King Kong, that was written back, when was the first King Kong book? Let me find out.
'70s. King Kong versus Godzilla is in the '70s movie, black and white, and looks very, very, I don't know, cartoonish.
No, 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 no. There was a book, and I know many of us do not like history. Otherwise, if you liked history, you would not be watching Ready Player One because it's just a video game. But King Kong actually was created or made into a movie in 1933.
Oh, okay,
So
even
that is
earlier than that.
very old and it's been around for a long time. And
Hmm.
also, I think we had Godzilla there, right?
Hmm.
And that is from another era, another
Culture,
country, even right? Another
cult-
country.
pop, pop culture from Japan,
Well, that's what I said. A different country. So let's see
right?
when Godzilla first came out.
Hmm.
Let's see. This one say 1954.
Right.
But let me see if there was a book written about that. Go on. Go ahead. What you're talking about while I'm researching.
Yeah. So that's the first goal that they try to get, and as they go along, they have scene that there's a gatekeeper, a man inside the game, keeping all kind of like an archive, digital archive of what's have happened. Like you mentioned, history. So, but the way they can retrieve those archive is not by books, or is not by music, or some sort of audio tape. It can be retrieved by, like, watching a movie. If you do, you remember those things? Like, they went to see what happened to the creator about dating his girlfriend or
Hmm.
ex-girlfriend, right? That's the second part of the game. Yeah, so that's just remind me of what we've been you and I or other guests have been talking about on the show, that you can become an observer if you become a higher frequency or higher level vibration, and or out of body experience in a spiritual awakening theory. So that is very interesting, because it's kind of like what we're talking about here. All the movies are in the sci-fi category, and now looking back, a lot of movies, including Star Wars, it's kind of somehow have a realistic related to it in today's 2024, right?
Not just 2024. Like I said, when King Kong was created in 1933, we saw it in the movie today. but a lot of people 19 born after 1999. I'm sorry, I don't want to pick on you guys. I'm just using that as a reference point. Many people do not care or doesn't bother them when King Kong was born or even Godzilla. Does not matter. It's a great game. It's fun. This is awesome. Like I can die and come back again. Where I think in the Ready Player One, it was a one die game, right? You only die once and that's it. It's over. And one
Uh,
of the other people who was reviewing the film said, I was very confused when the players had were able to respawn when it's supposed to be a once you're dead, you're out game. Anyway, that's just an observation.
yeah, so that's those scenes I found out very interesting, and then also when they go into a different doorway, enter in a different room, become a different scene, or it's like somehow it reminds me of Disney. You went inside, let's say, a Peter Pan world, and then you'll see all the Peter Pan, or you go to the what else is there? Oh, Star Wars, the new one, and you will experience the Star Wars. So those doors that they open in each one to a, let's say, a party, zombie, or some sort of crazy ladies with a skull. So that just reminds me of Disney in our real world. It's very
Yeah, I
interesting.
guess you can say it too. Maybe it could be a backstory, or maybe some of those other people who like to play the role player games, RPGs. It's part of a codex that you could see. You can look at it like that.
Yeah, Codex. Kodak is a photo, so it's also a film.
It is and it isn't. A codex actually is a book of what your it's a supplement to the guidebook or the rule book. You use the codex, put them together, and you can play or win a game.
Mm.
And the codex itself, you cannot do one without the other. But hey, that's a different type of game. Let's stay on Real Player One.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts so far about what we've been talking about on the
Oh, I had so
movie?
many other thoughts
You
that
were
this
looking up.
movie.
You were looking up with for something.
No, I
I was.
found it Godzilla 1956, and
Mm-hmm.
automatically it went up to what was happening in 1956. Of course, none of us here were alive, but if you look at the
Hey, you
history
never
books,
know. I have friends born in the 40s. They might be
no,
watching.
no, no, that's not what I meant. What I mean is, the ones in the 40s maybe are not even watching this show because it doesn't interest them, which is okay. Okay,
I
politics,
I I doubt that because I see the
politics. A lot of people
I
they'll
see
they'll
the YouTube matrix. They it's
that's
funny.
and again that's
They
not what
break
I'm
down.
talking about.
I know, but they break down to
That is not what I'm talking about. You don't need to go there.
I
Back
am
up.
talking about the
No,
YouTube matrix is showing where people came to watch all the videos. Let's say United States, some are Canada, some are
that's
Southern
wonderful.
America.
That's wonderful. That's not what I'm
And
talking
then
about.
and
Okay,
then
you want
there's
to stick to that point? Go ahead, talk.
yeah, it's okay, So, and the age. If we're talking about games, do you remember if games or even movies has a PG-13 or 18 and plus, right? Yes. Did you
Yes,
fall asleep?
go ahead. No, no, I just did not want to get into that. That's not what I meant. Let's
Oh,
stick with Ready Player One.
okay. So, okay,
Go ahead.
so on the what else? So on the movie viewing, observing scenes, it's kind of like what Mark Zuckerberg trying to do, with the metaverse. You can go in to different offices or different setting. It's kind of like what you're putting back in your background. You can switch, you can change, you can change the house, you can change the decoration. And funny, I mean not funny, but interesting part is in the real estate agent brokerage world, they currently there's two companies. One is EXP Realty. I don't mind mentioning it, and the other one is a Real Broker. Um, EXP is both a company are virtual now, and EXP is funny. When you have a question to ask somebody or a home office, they have it. It's called, I don't forget what it's called, but it's a virtual world. You have to just log in, sign up, and as an avatar, and then go to different department, customer service, technical support, other department. So it's just like the movie, when you walk into a mansion or a house, and then there's different doorways. And the interesting part is, remember the zombie when they were dancing with, we call it ghost or spirit, right? And the the player is not fear of those spiritual or ghosts are able to find the clue. So that's, I feel,
Mm.
I really feel that's another hint within the hint. So it's very interesting that, because remember, I forgot the character of that big guy. He was
Mm-hmm.
scared because he's big, right? He shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
scared, but he is scared of those zombie or vampire, whatever you want to call it. But the
Yeah, he
little
didn't like scary movies.
Yeah, but the little girl, which is little, okay, it's not afraid of the fear. It's not afraid of the zombie or the spiritual or the ghost, and decided to dance with, I forgot the name, Mary or some sort,
Mm-hmm.
of the creator's girlfriend, and that's how she got the clue.
Yeah, there's a reference to that
Okay, go for
creator and even the creator's girlfriend and even the name. It's from somewhere.
where.
Let me find out. Go ahead, keep talking.
I need to drink something because my cold is not fully recovered yet. Okay, so
Okay, I
I,
found it. I
okay,
found
go
it.
ahead, go ahead.
So that's in a reference to the main character from the movie The Dark Crystal. Have you seen that movie?
No,
Okay.
what is it called?
I don't think anybody in the audience may or may not have seen it because it's a movie, not a video game, is all I'm referencing. But it's called The Dark Crystal. I saw it before. It was very sci-fi. But anyway, that's the name of the main character is Kira.
Okay.
However, that is not the name of the girlfriend, or is it?
I
Let's see.
don't. I remember start with an
No, Kira is the name of the main character of Ready Player One. So let me go ahead and double
Mhm.
check out. But Kira's her name. Um, the yeah. Let me find out. Hang on.
Okay. Yeah. So when I watch this movie, I have that sense. I feel that, I sensitive that this movie is somehow, I don't know, reflecting the future reality for us, not just the VR glasses, but everything else from, like I mentioned earlier, the housing, the archive, and the the way society right now is inputting people into fear mode, and no matter how big or how large size you are, people can still be afraid and not move forward to do anything else. And so before I go on to number three, do you have anything that you can?
No, no, not yet. Hang on.
Okay. So number three, I think it's very interesting because it start involved with a corporate person. Remember that
Oh yeah,
that
that
guy?
I just came across it. The corporate person's name is Sorrento.
Okay.
Sorrento.
Sorrentos.
Hmm.
Okay. So this person is trying to win the game, and is also trying to control the game, and try to steal from the main character's trophies, right? And so he has his own, um how do you call, VR, or even have this chair that can really, it's more, seems like it's more advanced than the main character's equipments, because he has a chair and he's in a better environment, better building, not in the ADU stacking container
Oh, I did
neighborhood.
get it. I did get it correct. It was
Okay.
Karen. Kara is
What
the name. The main character's girlfriend, Wade. Her name is Artemis. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got them
about the
confused.
creator's girlfriend
That was it, Kira. But her name in real life was Karen, but in the game it was Kira.
in the avatar is Karen. Okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, correct. We got to be careful with that too, because when you go into those kind of games, you're not who you are in the real world. You're a different person. You're your avatar. And
Yeah.
what does Artemis say in one of the scenes? Never give your real name in the virtual world ever, right?
Yes, that's the game. Everybody has I don't play computer games myself personally, but
But they have an
I
alter ego,
do,
right? Alter
yeah, I
ego.
do know people has played, and yeah. Okay, so back to the corporate person. So it's just like our real world, some big corporate person trying to control everything, control the world. To me personally, I feel that that character in the movie, it can be reflect to Mr. Gate. Okay.
Not just him. You can name like a handful of people who people can.
Okay, yeah, but to me that's Mr. Bill Gates. Okay, that's my view. Like you said, everybody has different perspective, different point of view. So my personal view, that person is an avatar in a movie of our real
So
world. Bill Gates.
Sorrento is
Bill
Bill
Gates.
Gates to you. I hope Bill Gates doesn't write his password on his chair like in the movie. That's not good.
Well, Bill Gates. Anyways, that's another show to talk about Bill Gates. Okay, so
And
as
even though in the review they say Sorrento was not very bright, he
mhm.
because of what I just mentioned, he puts his password on the chair. I mean, that's not a very smart move.
Yeah,
But
that's a
but
little,
what do people do in the not to say Sorrento's the same, but they put it underneath their keyboard or in the back of their screen, right?
yeah, but fun. Well, not funny, but a lot of people. Maybe you already know. I think you already know. A lot of people don't know Microsoft is not Bill Gates is just a face. It's just a company face. But another person, I forgot, I don't know his name, I forgot his name, it was the one that really, the engineer of the Microsoft Windows. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard
So,
that about many faces. You can even mention it in today's world with the presidency. The president is just the face.
yeah,
He's not the
it
person.
is.
He's not the person running the country, even though they say he is or she is. It's not, right? It's the same thing with Sorrento. He's just the face.
Surrender. That's why I say
Yeah.
he reminds me of Bill Gates, even though
And you
everybody's,
mentioned Bill Gates is the face too. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, yeah.
So who's behind the face? Maybe that's another question we should ask, right? Who's behind it?
Are you talking about the real world or the game world?
Well, even both. I mean,
Uh,
what did we call them before? The elites, right? Are those the elites behind the face
yeah, well, this is a little bit off
in the in
topic.
the in the in the real world?
This is off a little bit off of the hot topic, but I went to Barnes and Noble. The shop, the store, not
What
the
is
bar.
that? Is Barnes and Noble online? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
no, no, not online. The actual brick and mortar store, not the VR world.
Do they still have those? I heard
Yeah.
about libraries that they used to have long time
No.
ago. Are they still around?
Yes, they are. Anyways, I seen a lot of new release book is on those topics like puppets. I posted online puppets, and I have some big, I mentioned Mark Zuckerberg earlier, Jeff Bezos, not Elon Musk, Bill Gates
Some more faces.
are
Okay.
controlling, like you said, controlling this real world right now. So anyway, so back to that corporate person in the game.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, the movies always have a happy ending. They won the game, and the bad guy, which is the corporate guy, didn't win. And the very interesting part to me is, and I'm sure if you remember, the player, the main character, the guy is asking the creator, "Oh, so you're real? You're not avatar, right?" Remember that little scene?
Yeah.
And his face is telling me otherwise. Of course, he said no, but his reaction, you can see.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if to me, it's kind of like, if we want to, really go out of the box here, okay, out of the box. So if you really realize, like you said, the cycle, the trending, the seasons. So if we take a look at the technology invention, just take a look at a cell phone. Okay, remember back in, let's say, 80 or 70, they already have cell phone, right? It was huge, correct? Like it's
Oh, the brick. Yeah.
like a brick. And how about
Suitcase.
computer?
I think it was a suitcase, wasn't it? Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't
Okay.
born yet.
Well, you could. Well, not that you would, but type it in Google. They'll tell you, show you a picture. You don't have to be born then.
Yeah, see,
Yep.
archive.
The
Okay.
archives. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, and computer too, right? The actual computer, right? It's bulky and huge. I remember before the personal computer, it has to fit in the whole room. Remember?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I heard about those.
yeah, those are the IBM IBM era. Yeah. And then cars too. Everything it started getting smaller, 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 and compact. So from that interview of Mark Zuckerberg, just it was aired on February 16th. So he is mentioned. I'm sure you heard this. The from the headset, the bulky headset, to ribbons sunglasses.
A ribbon?
Is that the brand? The ribbon,
Oh,
ribbon,
Ray-Ban, Ray-Ban.
ribbon. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
So he's
Sunglasses. Okay.
yeah. So he is going to integrate into that sunglasses. So meaning, what people see VR as a big headset, it become a sunglasses.
Wow.
Yeah, and remember we do a episode about sunglasses.
They live. Yes.
And, so again, I say out of the box. So
Well, you know, that reminds me something I was
okay,
reading a
go
little while
ahead.
ago.
Sure, go ahead.
Remember when not I don't I'm not saying remember as in remember because you were not there. They invented what they call infrared or night goggles where you can see at night.
Mm-hmm,
The story is that when you or the people they were testing it out on, usually
mm-hmm,
military, for
mm-hmm,
night vision goggles, they saw things that you cannot see without the goggles.
mm-hmm,
And it scared them so much
mm-hmm.
that they made adjustments so they wouldn't see those things that were not there anymore, but they can still see at night. I just wonder what they really saw
Yeah,
because it scared the crap out of them. From
yeah,
oh, I wish I'd known we were going to bring it that up for reference so I can get that ready for you, but I don't have it.
yeah, and
But did you
just
hear that? Did you hear something like that? Is it something
no,
weird? I don't.
but I do know, like, um just doesn't have to go to the goggle, but just along, let's say, the regular, if we talk about Kodak, just regular camera or regular, video camera. Sometimes they can capture something that our naked eye can see or can capture. I'm sure you heard of that, right? Sometimes the old photographer, old photos, they capture a person in a crowd that doesn't seem to be belong there or belong to that time, right? And or if you watch a lot of those, how do you call it, phenomenal movies or shows, they capture spirits in the video camera. So
Oh yeah,
it's,
yeah.
yeah,
I
similar logic to what you
I
said.
used to know. I used to have a coworker
Hmm.
who used to do documentaries, and what he did one year, they hired him to film the scariest grave sites in California, and he did.
Okay.
But while he was filming, he would see all these little orbs
Oh,
floating around, but he couldn't
Jesus.
see them. He only saw
Yeah.
them when he was on the camera, but he couldn't
Mhm.
see them. But
Yeah.
when he saw the camera, it's like, what is that?
See, it's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. And then, okay, can I say, are you looking up something right now? Or
Yes, but I don't know if you or the audience would like what I saw.
okay,
Maybe I'm going too far back, but yeah.
before I finish what I was gonna say, the out of box, you can
Oh
share
yeah,
share what you
it was
found first.
the night goggles were invented
Mhm.
around 1929, and in 1939 they were used in military purposes.
Yeah,
But it's not quite what I was.
yeah,
I think
like
mine was more of an experiment result, which I don't think is here. I
yeah,
may not be searching it for it
yeah,
correctly, which you have
yeah.
to be very careful because a lot of search engines, if you don't say the right thing or you mispronounce a word, you're not going to get the search you want. Anyway,
It's
yeah, go
okay.
ahead.
Yeah, because people who have accents, that means they speak a second language, right? Hola.
Well, no, not even the accent.
Do
Like
you
I
do you
said,
do you do
you can
you
speak perfect English,
do
but
you
if you don't say the question right,
do
it's
you
not going to come out.
do you speak Spanish at all?
Yes, but it has nothing to do with
Are
act. I
you
mean, it's
fluent?
the other way around too. And those of you who have, doesn't matter what language, if you mispronounce a word or a letter in that word, it's going to have an entirely different meaning.
That's true. I get it because, well, that's a long story back, but some Caucasian was trying to speak Mandarin, and then it sounds like what you said, same pronunciation, but different word, different meaning, and different word, but used at a different setting. It sounds weird.
Ooh, that reminds me. Maybe we should do a
What?
there's a story that the men who stare at goats. I don't know why it just popped in my head. Have you heard of it? Have you seen it? Do you know what
See,
it's
what is it
about?
called? What is it
The
called?
men who stare at goats. This is in 2009.
I can. Well, we can. I can. I never heard of it, but I can
Well, what it is,
check
well,
it
this
out.
is really weird. This is really weird because in 2009,
Hmm.
it's about a story about the military's attempts to employ psychic powers as a weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard of that.
George Clooney, I think he's the one who starred in it too,
Yeah.
and Kevin Spacey. The men who stare at goats, where the military
Yes.
uses psychic
Yes.
powers as a weapon.
Yes.
I've been hearing that for a long, long time.
I
But
heard of
because
that.
it's the men who stare at goats, I have no idea. And the reason it popped up too, just this last few days, I heard a story about this man who can project his thoughts into another person, and
Mm-hmm.
he contacted several extraterrestrials who were walking around. They look just like us. He said, just like us. You
Yeah.
don't even know. You can't tell the difference.
Yes.
That's where
Yeah.
you put on the goggles and you can see stuff that's not there.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
whoa, they live.
I will tell you something. Since you mentioned this, you
I hope
ready?
we're not going too far off
No,
topic.
no,
Hello,
no, no, no.
everyone.
No,
Just
no, no,
sci-fi,
no. It's not
sci-fi.
not too far, not too far. So let me finish what I'm gonna say about that outer box. So I was mentioning about technology, invention, cycles, seasons, improvement, right? So imagine this. Since Mark Zuckerberg is moving from the big headset to the sunglasses, what if, just what if What if down the future, down the line, down the timeline, those glasses become smaller, 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 thinner, even invisible, and maybe it's built into our eye. You thought about that?
Well, a lot of
So
people who are spiritual advisors and spiritual leaders and even hypnotists can say everyone's capable of having psychic powers. Everybody. So you don't need glasses. You don't need VR.
yeah,
You can do it yourself, right?
what I'm trying to say here is, since we are in that path, so and then many people, including myself, said it before, we are might be in a simulation, and the simulation is from my own philosophy or thinking or theory, is our mind is like I think I mentioned to you, like a movie projector, and our eyes projects out what we're thinking inside. So you and I are looking, let's say, a stage, right? And then because we all have the same thinking, same mindset, so we project image as the same stage. You see what I mean? Yeah. So 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 people, I believe, I forgot his name. Um. Anyways, I forgot the name of the person, but he said, "When it becomes real is when the observer observes." You heard of that before?
Um,
No.
no,
Okay.
but I'm sure he or she is not the first person to say it. I mean,
Yeah,
to
yeah, but
me, to me, it seems like you're talking about like creation and what you think about is going to happen. Just to put it in more current terms or times, and we mentioned the book or the story a few minutes ago, Star Wars.
yes,
That was invented or created by George Lucas, who thought about it.
he
He
taking
thought about it, and he may put it on film.
he take Joseph Campbell's, um I won't give it too much because that's actually one coming up in one of the episode. Joseph
Yeah,
Campbell versus Star Wars. Anyways, so yeah, so that's
yeah, yeah. And
what I
the
so
way
that's
it is,
how.
Joseph Campbell is something he repeated it from someone else, who repeated it from someone else. So
Yes,
it's not new. We
it's
just think it is because
like
it's the first time we saw it.
it's a cycle. Okay, so
Yes, yes,
and then it's
yes.
mentor always have another mentor. It's
Yep,
passed down.
yep.
That's how, remember the echo you saw? It's
Hmm.
the lady said it's passed down by generations.
But
Remember
that's
she's doing
yeah,
this? Yeah. So
yeah.
every generation passed down to the next, to the next, to the next, and
It
circle
it,
back
it
around.
is it is and it isn't, because how many people like here, and let's just use America for an example.
Hmm.
Those generations from generations, where you honor your ancestors, you go back and back and back. And I think they even do it in certain, like England, they have a list of their parents, usually in royalty, can go back 3,000 years,
Hmm.
right? But other people
Yeah.
don't even know who their parents are or their grandparents are, or if they knew their grandparents, all they remember is their grandparents. And like for me,
Hmm.
I don't remember who my great grandparents are.
Same. I never met them. So
And no one talked about them.
yeah,
No one
after
talked about them.
after two generation they forgot.
Yeah, yeah,
And imagine, myself, I don't have kids. How about
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're gonna forget you.
That's why I'm
That
making
and
that's
you
why
know
I'm
what?
making
No,
YouTube
you know
video
what?
for
Well,
people.
what you're doing right now is, I think it's. I have a friend of mine. She's 99, I think. If
Hmm.
she's not passed away already, I haven't talked to her in a year. But she wrote a few books to have her memory somewhere.
She
And
doesn't
sort
have
of like
any
what
kids.
you're doing right now. I'm making my podcast so someone will not
She have
forget me.
any? She
She had
have
no
any
kids.
kids?
She had
Oh,
no
no
kids.
kids too.
No,
Oh,
no, no. They were her stepkids, but they're not her kids, and
oh.
they're not no one's gonna remember her.
Well, you say there's book. I don't know
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah. In well,
how
no
well
one
is the book. So I
no
don't
one
know.
in the family is gonna remember her. But if the book survives, it'll always be in print. If the video survives, it'll always be there. You know, like they have movies. The same reason. Yeah,
Archive. Remember archive?
archives. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But in
Then,
archives, which is very hard, you need to have somebody keep that archive up.
yeah.
It's very expensive. That's
Well,
why some we're talking about libraries. Nobody wants to a lot of people. Libraries are a waste of time. If you talk to a developer, why is this library here? I can build 15 homes here that'll bring money to the community. The library takes it and takes it and takes it.
library will become digital. Will be uploaded to the cloud. I'm not
Well,
joking. That's
oh
that's
yeah,
also that's also
VR, VR.
Elon Musk. No, this is from Elon Musk's vision. Yeah. Okay. So that's me.
Let's
Remember,
wrap it up.
remember I was gonna tell you
Oh,
that
after that, let's wrap it up. Go ahead.
that thing that you mentioned about your friend doing the graveyard grave.
Oh yes, yes, the orbs.
Yeah, the orbs. So okay, so to me, like I mentioned, our eyes is a projector of our mind, and we most probably, I don't know, we might be in a simulation. So what you see is what you project, and is what's real to you. Everybody's different, right? So the other day, I was, how sometimes I talk to myself, you know. So the other day, I was thinking and asking, how can I want to see another dimension? Okay, I tell myself that. And then so funny, I went into our building's elevator, and I've been in that elevator many, many times, but I never really focus and pay attention on, how elevator has this keyhole, to turn on and off
Oh yeah,
certain
yeah.
functions. Okay. So on the side of the button, with the floor, there's three keyholes. And it's so strange. It somehow answered what I was asking. The first keyhole, it has on and off writing, and at the bottom it says lights. Okay. The second keyhole, on and off, and the bottom it says photo eye. Okay. And then third one, you ready? On and off, it says access unable. I took a picture here. I'll upload on the show when I do the
I
editing.
wonder. I wonder if
That
that
is so
has.
crazy.
I wonder if that has to do with your when you saw Ready Player One, because the Easter eggs, or there were three keys,
Yeah.
three
See,
keys,
my
and you're
God.
putting three keys in the elevator.
Yeah, that's why I said, see, our reality is
and
projected by
then
our.
and then isn't three like a variation of the 369 that Tesla talked about?
Yeah, but there's no ninth floor for me to go up.
Well, there's no ninth floor. There's no ninth floor in that dimension.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're so good. Alrighty. So so thank you for watching, listening. Please subscribe.